Yo, book nerds! I read Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This was one of my top books last year, 2025. Like, it was so good. The first half of the book, it's like 200 pages. The first like 100 pages was fine. It was interesting, but it didn't grab me until that middle just took me, and the second half of the book, I was gone. Like, I flew through the second half of the book. The last 30 pages especially, like, I could not put it down. I was reading while my kids were napping, and they woke up and I had 2 pages left, and I told Taylor, I'm like, you have to get the kids because I need to finish reading. I cannot stop right now. And so, yeah, it was kind of funny, but I really, really enjoyed this. I definitely think it is worth the read. I can't stop thinking about it. But what's it about? Maybe you don't know. I went into this kind of having an idea of what it was about. I knew it was about a group of boys getting lost on an island in the middle of nowhere in the jungle, and they have to take care of themselves. Like, I knew that. And I also knew that it does not go well. Like, that is what I went into knowing, and that's pretty much the setup of this book. You have these boys that their plane crashes on this island, and they need to figure out how to live, and they're kids, and they try to govern themselves, and there's arguments, and it does not go well at all. It just spirals out of control. This book really is a descent into chaos. That's what this book is about. I thought that the author's style was unique. It may not be for everyone. I thought it was quite beautiful. There are descriptions of nature and of what these boys are feeling and the way they're living, and these descriptions are just written so beautifully, and I liked them. But again, this style may not be for everyone. Golding can be a little flowery sometimes with his language, but I like it. Let me give you some examples of some of the beautiful writing. Our main character is Ralph, and the boys decide Ralph is going to be chief and kind of be their leader. And Ralph wants them to be rescued, right? So they decide they should have a fire. So they build a fire, and one scene it gets out of control and part of the island catches on fire. And the description of that fire is really beautiful. It's kind of long, but just listen to this beautiful paragraph. Smoke was rising here and there among the creepers that festooned the dead or dying trees. As they watched, a flash of fire appeared at the root of one wisp, and then the smoke thickened. Small flames stirred at the trunk of a tree and crawled away through leaves and brushwood, dividing and increasing. One patch touched a tree trunk and scrambled up like a bright squirrel. The smoke increased, sifted, rolled outwards. The squirrel leapt on the wings of the wind and clung to another standing tree, eating downward. Beneath the dark canopy of leaves and smoke, the fire laid hold on the forest and began to gnaw. Acres of black and yellow smoke rolled steadily toward the sea. At the sight of the flames and the irresistible course of the fire, the boys broke into shrill, excited cheering. The flames, as though they were a kind of wildlife, crept as a jaguar creeps on its belly toward a line of birch-like saplings that fledged an outcrop of the pink rock. They flapped at the first of the trees, and the branches grew a brief foliage of fire. The heart of flame leapt nimbly across the gap between the trees and then went swinging and flaring along the whole row of them. Beneath the capering boys, a quarter of a mile square forest was savage with smoke and flame. The separate noises of the fire merged into a drum roll that seemed to shake the mountain. It's such a deep visual description. Like, I just could see everything. I just loved it. And all he's talking about is flames eating up the nature surrounding the boys. Here's another line that I like. 2 of the boys are walking together. It's Ralph and Jack, and they're kind of having a disagreement. They're not really on the same page with each other. And it says, they walked along 2 continents of experience and feeling, unable to communicate. How often do people walk around like that in real life? Walking side by side, two continents of experience, unable to communicate. This is so much the world right now. We can't talk with each other. Like, we are in our own little bubble and we think our own things and we can't get outside that. Like, I just love that line. There are so many quotes that I could give you, but I just wanted to give you two little like samples of the writing because it's so good and it's so short. Like, if I tell you more, like, it's gonna spoil things, so I don't want to do that. But I do want to talk spoilers, so if you don't want to know anymore, just know that this was a great read and everyone should read this. I think it's so worth it. But now I'm going to get into spoilers, so spoiler alert. Lord of the Flies, like, I thought the entire book, I thought the Lord of the Flies would be Ralph. Like, he's the chief, so he's the Lord, right, of the flies because they're out in nature and there are bugs. Like, I thought Ralph was going to be the Lord of the Flies. I was so wrong. No, it's not. And when I realized that, I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought it would be Ralph or at least Jack. Jack is the person that's like trying to be chief instead of Ralph, the one that, like, Jack and Ralph butt heads this entire book. Like, I thought the Lord of the Flies would refer to one of them. It doesn't. But when we first meet the Lord of the Flies, like, I wasn't quite sure if it was like a supernatural or if this was the beast, because the entire book the boys are like afraid of some beast that they keep thinking they see in the woods, but you're not really sure if they actually see anything. So I was like, is the Lord of the Flies, is that the beast? Is this supernatural? Is this all happening inside Simon, a different boy? Is it because he's the one who sees the Lord of the Flies? Is this all happening in his head? Is it psychological? Or is it supernatural? Like, I wasn't quite sure at first. Like, is Simon going crazy? Is the beast real? Like, I didn't know. But as I kept reading, I came to the decision that Simon was hallucinating. It said that he was thirsty and hot, and so I'm guessing that he was suffering from like heat stroke or exhaustion or dehydration or all of the above. And so I'm sure he was hallucinating, and he invented in his mind the Lord of the Flies based on what he was seeing in real life. Like, his mind just took it and ran with it. And I'm trying like really hard not to be too spoilery, so sorry if this is like super vague, but like, I just was like blown away, I guess, by that scene with Simon and the Lord of the Flies. But I really do think that he was just hallucinating from like heat stroke or dehydration or something. Now I want to like talk about the imagery in here. The imagery with like the boys living on this island, and oh my gosh, there's scenes with where the boys paint their faces and they act more savage when they have their face painted, and it's such a good metaphor. Like, the painted face equals savage. Like, you can hide behind this mask and do things you wouldn't do when you didn't have your face painted, when you were civilized. Like, I there were so many layers to that. I just really thought that was well done by Golding. But the boys paint their faces and then they just seem like they are no longer responsible for what they do. They're savage, they're wild. I'm going to give you another line towards the end of the book that really struck me. But Ralph, he's sad. This is actually on the last page of the book, and it says, "And in the middle of them, with filthy body, matted hair, and unwiped nose, Ralph wept for the end of innocence, the darkness of man's heart, and the fall through the air of the true wise friend called Piggy." You probably won't know what that last part about Piggy means unless you've read the book, but Ralph wept for the end of innocence. Ralph is like 12 years old, guys. Like, he goes through so much in this book, and like, he's crying because he is no longer a kid by the end of this book. Like, he is not. There's another quote in here, and I don't remember who says it, and I don't remember what page it's on, so I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember it exactly, but it goes something like, we did everything adults would do. What went wrong? Like, that is like the theme for this whole book. Like, they want to govern themselves and everything goes wrong. They go savage. They lose their innocence and everything just spirals into chaos. The irony in this book too, the irony that Jack and Ralph fight most often about the fire. Like, Ralph wants to be saved, so he wants a fire, and Jack couldn't care less about the fire. He just wants to hunt animals and have fun and be wild and crazy and savage. And the irony, again, spoiler alert because I'm spoiling the very end, the irony that Jack tries to kill Ralph by setting the woods on fire when all Ralph wanted was for them to make a fire, and Jack wouldn't. And then Jack tries to kill him by setting the woods on fire, and then the smoke from that fire is what saves the boys. Like, the irony is like, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. I can't even like put into words what I'm thinking. And just the theme is so deep. There's no beast. There's nothing scary or evil or bad on this island. There's no beast. It is only the boys. It is only human beings and children at that create the bad things that happen on this island. Like, what is this book saying about humanity? Like, that we're innately bad, inherently bad? Like, we just, I mean, it's just such an interesting conversation. The only thing I disliked about this book was that the author rarely ever labeled quotations. So people would be talking and there'd be no labels, and sometimes it was really hard to know who was saying what. And I'd get through part and then I'd realize that different characters were speaking than I thought originally, and I'd have to like start over and reread that. I don't know why he wouldn't just label things and say like Ralph said, Jack said, Simon said. Like why didn't he put those labels on there? The only thing I can think of, besides it being a stylistic choice, was that maybe he was trying to say that anyone could be saying and doing these things. Like, inside any one of us is the capability to do these horrible things to each other. Like, that would tie into the theme. I don't know if it's that deep or not, but it's definitely something to think about. I'm done gushing over this book. I think it's wonderful. I think you should read it if you haven't. Sorry if my review is like all over the place and kind of wild, but you know what? This book is wild, so it fits. I just had to like get all my thoughts out, and yeah, it is what it is. Like, I just needed to talk about this book because it is wonderful. And wonderful is probably not the right word, but it has not left my brain. Like, I cannot stop thinking about this book and the themes and the layers, and just, I ate it up. Definitely recommend. Please drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? What do you think about the Beast and the Lord of the Flies and the message of this book? I would love to know. I will talk to you guys next Monday. I hope you have a lovely week. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for talking books with me.